today we have a very special guest. We have David Berkowitz. David is the SVP of Corporate Marketing and Communications at the omnichannel advertising platform MediaOcean and the founder of the 3,000 plus member serial marketers community. We've also launched the CMO creator coin on rally.io. Can you share with me your perspective on the value of these independent digital economies and how you feel serial marketers might evolve because of CMO coins?
I think that there are a couple of pieces to it, and it's good to talk about it at a time when the crypto world's taking a big hit, and it's like how do you disconnect what's going on with the crypto trading prices versus what's going on with the community, and so it can facilitate things on a very basic level, like rewarding members for taking the survey or recognizing people in that way, and it's something that has a little bit more value as for those who have that stake in the community. There's a lot about right now about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Well, like, what does that mean? And what does that mean if that token becomes a way to access something exclusive within the community? And that's another form of proof of ownership. It gives marketers another chance for experiential learning. It's how can I get this NFT into the most people's hands so that people can learn about this.
I know for a lot of our students here at Springboard, they are kind of just dipping their toe into the marketing world. So how did you get started in the marketing world? I kind of want to go back in time a little bit before we move forward to all your other ventures.
Well, yeah. I mean, the original idea, and this was back in 2000 when I was graduating with the psych degree and thought I'd wind up as a teacher, which is a profession I still it's like it still informs a lot of what I do, and then I feel like it at some point could wind up returning down that path. But really, for me, the proliferation of the internet was creating so many opportunities for content creation, and I thought, as someone who always enjoyed writing, well, maybe there's a hook in there for me, and so I started off as a technical writer for a .com startup that went bust pretty quickly. But then I really cut my teeth at the research firm eMarketer, where I was an editor and then took on some PR responsibilities over the years. So I just took advantage, look like being at a place like a research company, or if you're at a media firm or someone, or even an agency working with a wide range of clients. I don't know how great or not great I was at my job, but I think I was better than most at taking advantage of these kinds of opportunities.
I know now, people can do very well in the content marketing position, but were those positions necessarily in existence at the time?
Well, I like to say that I was doing content marketing before anyone was calling it content marketing. You watch you watch Mad Men and you see just what it's like to create categories from scratch and create brands from scratch. So, I mean, content marketing existed for a very long time, but it was by no means like where we have the creator economy and all kinds of different classifications of influencers and that kind of thing. It was extremely different back then.
So in 2019, you gave a speech titled The 18 Types of Startup Marketers. If you could only hire 3 of your startup marketer types to launch a new product or service, which types would you hire and why?
One of the first kinds of hires I look for is someone usually with like 1 to 3 years of experience, who's been doing a few scrappy projects, who's a really good communicator and can pick up enough, like at the very least, they're not tech phobic. When I see someone like that, I get really excited because they can just help like round things out and execute in a really big way. The second piece is someone who really just appreciates data inside and out and can help optimize around those specific goals. So, generally that growth marketer type. And then, I mean, I think that there's so much as that third piece that just lives and dies by great design. I'll have startups pitching me, I go in and check their website out, I check LinkedIn, maybe I'll check Instagram, I'll be like, wow, this looks like a really polished company. I'm like, wait, you're 3 people and you've been doing this for 6 months, like it helps if they look like they're a real company and not someone who's just like, created this in PowerPoint and like on a third grade level. So yeah, that's probably where I'd start out.
So from 2006 to 2013, you were the VP of Emerging Media for digital agency 360i, which was named Top Digital Agency of Advertising Age. Can you share what your role was like and what decisions you made along the way that led to this opportunity?
Yeah, it was a fun role being the first person who was hired at 360i. I was hired in this director of strategic planning role when like none of us knew what that meant. And it was just like, help us figure stuff out. And 2006, going back then, this was like the dawn of social media marketing at scale. It was our form of influencer marketing. And it was something that like it just none of the other firms that our clients were working with were remotely focused on. We actually saw influencer marketing as a great way to impact natural search results in Google. Like that was actually the throughput. I mean, we were hardly the only ones doing it, but it was fun being among that cohort that was creating this whole social media marketing field from scratch.
Do you have any recommendations to the students for either digital or social media tools or resources that you recommend that they could use or share or maybe even research in their journey of learning more about marketing?
If you really want to have fun right now, one of the best things to do is look up things like AI powered content creation tools. It's kind of scary for some folks who like to write, but it might inspire new ways of looking at things and new kinds of ideas. Quick one, as far as one of my favorite tools, is SparkToro. And it gives you all these analytics about people who are like the kinds of accounts that are, say, following a given Twitter handle or like talking about a given subject. And I've actually used this in the past before Mediaocean for job interviews or for like projects I was looking at, where I was like, here's what people are saying about you and your competitors. And like I knew even when I was putting this information into my pitch deck for those roles, I'm like I felt so confident that I was instantly in like the top 5 or 10% of anyone they could possibly look at.
So this is my favorite part. It's the final piece, but it's my favorite part of the interviews. It's a game we like to play called Underrated, Overrated. So I have these four, and I feel like there's some good ones. So I'm excited to hear what you say. So
Yeah.
first one is the creator economy. Would you say that's underrated, overrated, and why?
I'd say it's overrated as a name. It's underrated as an actual practice, because I feel like it's something that you just start applying to anything and everything until it has no meaning. But I think it's underrated in terms of like what does it mean for a creator actually to have their own economy around something they're doing? And that's really profound. You actually have a whole economy that doesn't just involve the creator, but their audience, their community, especially in ways that allowing everyone to interact with each other. So that's where I think like that next phase of it is, and it might just need a better name.
Okay, for the second one, what about Discord? Underrated, overrated, or why?
Say overrated. It's got the best functionality of a lot of community platforms. Someone who built a community in Slack. There's so many of these features that I'm like, I wish I had access to there. But Discord is also, there's a lot of noise. It's really hard to keep track of what's going on. So if you're only invited to one, there's the whole learning curve. But then quickly, once you get into a few of them, it's like you can't keep track of any of it. So I still think that there's a need for just much better community tools out there.
Okay, so the third one is thought leadership. Do you think that's underrated or overrated?
Well, I'm kind of gonna go back to my other answer where it's overrated as a buzzword. It's underrated if you try to think of what it means. So how do you actually think about things in a way that just people aren't thinking of, and how do you get people to follow you along for the ride? If we're introducing a new idea in the world, or we're saying like there's this new product feature innovation, and here's why you should pay attention to it, it better be thought leadership or we're doing something wrong.
So for our final one, NFTs, are those underrated or overrated?
I'd say they're overrated as a financial asset. They're underrated as a utility, because there are genuinely things that you could do as far as proof of ownership, as far as connecting, far as connecting this digital representation of an offline or real world event or ownership, that then gets you into a kind of club, right? Everything from like Disney or sneakerhead collectors to just like just enthusiasts of different kinds of sports teams, or just people who are like want to participate in a new way at a corporate event. Like there are going to be all kinds of applications for it that we're just scratching the surface on.
Such great points. Such a great point. Thank you so much, David. This has been such a great interview. So much wisdom you've given us and light in your journey and where you're going, where you've been. So thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much for having me and for taking the time to ask such very thoughtful questions. And yeah, appreciate being able to connect with your audience, at least virtually, this way.
Thanks again, and have a great day.